So what do you do if you've got a new sub-ohm tank and you want to wind a coil and you only have 32 gauge wire? If you wind the coil with 32 gauge wire, if you run this at 25 or 30 watts, it will melt like a fuse. This is a Kanthral sub tank, and inside is a rebuildable atomizer. I used my 32 gauge wire. So what you need to do is cut 4 pieces the exact same length and twist them together. Here's my 32 gauge Kanthral. Again, it's too thin for high watts. It will melt. So what I do is I cut 4 pieces about the same length. You want to make sure there's no kinks in any of the lengths you cut.
There's 1, 2, 3,
4. Now put all 4 pieces together so the lengths meet up at one end. I'm going to twist that, and I'm also going to loop it around in a knot. I'm just going to hold it with my fingernails for right now, and I'm going to clamp that end in a vice grip. Clamped. I'm going to hold up
another pair of wires. Okay, now I'm going to twist. I like to go clockwise every time just so I remember. And I'm going to twist that many times until I can see that I've got one stranded piece of nichrome wire, Kanthral or whatever brand you use. This is a Jacobs. Now I've got 4 strands of Jacobs. And I'm going to twist that. No kinks. And nice and tight. If any of these wires break free from the others, it's possible that they will melt. And then the rest of your wires will overheat and melt as well. So you really need that to be no kinks and one piece of wire. Now, while I've got the weight on the end of it, I'm going to wind my foil.
Okay, here I'm using the screwdriver that came with the sub tank. It's probably about 2 millimeters or so. And I'm going to wind 5 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, keep that nice and tight still on the end. I'm going to cut the leads off. There you go, now you have a sub-ohm coil. It was too thin. It is now 4 strands tightly bound together. And when you connect these ends under the screws, you have to make sure that nothing comes unraveled, that they're solid, and that all 4 strands are connected under the screw, that you've got a good mechanical and electrical connection. That's how you make a coil from multiple strands. Here's the tank with the rebuildable atomizer in it. The other thing is, after you connect the coil to the tank without the cotton in it, without any wick, fire the tank, make sure the coil lights up. It should heat up from the middle out. You shouldn't see any spots on the coil that are hotter than another. It should just evenly heat out. And that process will also help burn off any crud or impurities or junk, grease, whatever that's on the wire. So fire it without any wick in it, let it glow for a couple seconds. Do that a couple times until it stops smoking and it just burns a nice bright orange. Then let it cool for a minute and then go ahead and wick it. Again, consult some of the other videos online about rebuilding the coils. This is a Tesla mod. It's a mechanical mod, but it has circuitry up in here, some MOSFETs that prevent too much current it'll go very high current. So in other words, you can put a very, very low resistance here, and it will deliver quite a bit of power, but only to a limit. And in other words, if you short something shorts here, which is very possible, happens. I've seen it happen. I've had it happen. If you don't have any protection, these batteries will put out enough current to start a fire, and the device will burn up. And there are videos on YouTube of devices that burned up. It's not pretty. I've shorted these batteries under controlled conditions just to see what would happen. They heat up instantly, and within 30 or 40 seconds they are in flames, and you have toxic fumes in a very dangerous situation. I did that in controlled conditions outside, where I had a place to put the battery, and it can also explode. So it probably wasn't too smart on my part, but I really wanted to know, and I found out. So this is a Tesla. Into a half ohm coil, it'll deliver 30 to 35 watts, which has been plenty for my personal taste. I've even used the 1.2 ohm coil in here, which was also decent, but I prefer the little higher volume of vape I get from a lower ohm coil. And this was self-wound, just with a coil built exactly as I just showed you. Plenty of vape. Enjoy.